Imagine waking up on a scorching afternoon during the month of fasting, and for a beautiful moment, you completely forget you are even fasting. No gnawing stomach pain, no dizzying brain fog, and no desperate countdown to sunset. For many, fasting is a grueling battle against biology, ending in a sugar-heavy feast that leaves the soul defeated. What if the hunger you fight is not a spiritual test, but a chemical trap that steals your reward? One brother found a secret by embracing a keto-carnivore path. He ate one nutrient-dense meal at sunset, focusing on rich meats and healthy fats, and drank only water until dawn. This stabilized his blood sugar and granted him supernatural energy. It was a return to a natural way of fueling that allowed his spirit to lead without being distracted by constant, agonizing hunger signals. The essence of this approach is found in the core of our tradition. We are taught that the son of Adam fills no vessel worse than his stomach. Yet our modern tables are overflowing with refined carbohydrates. When we flood our bodies with processed flour and hidden sugars at sunset, we trigger a massive spike in insulin that leads to a crushing crash during the night prayers. To break this cycle, rebuild your plate. Choose high-quality protein as your foundation: succulent beef, tender lamb, poultry, or fresh fish. These are the building blocks of strength and satiety. When you remove the inflammation caused by refined grains, the heavy breads and white rice that make your joints ache and your mind sluggish, your body no longer feels like a heavy anchor. By choosing a keto path, you tell your body to stop relying on the flickering, unstable flame of glucose and start burning the stable reservoir of its own fat. This is metabolic submission to the design of the Creator. It aligns perfectly with the prophetic wisdom of moderation, where food is meant to support our standing in prayer, not hinder it. Why, then, do we continue to treat Iftar as a reward for the stomach, rather than as fuel for the soul's journey toward the Almighty? To reclaim this state of effortless fasting, you must change how you break your fast with intention and precision. Start your Iftar not with a mountain of dough, but with pure water and a small pinch of natural sea salt to replenish the vital minerals your body has utilized. Then, move to your chosen source of sustenance. Your plate should feature a generous portion of your selected protein: meat, fish, or perhaps organic eggs. To this, add a source of healthy fats to provide long-lasting energy. You might choose a plant-based fat, like a creamy avocado or extra virgin olive oil, or perhaps a rich animal fat, like grass-fed butter or aged cheese. To add variety without the sugar spike, you can include earthy mushrooms, leafy greens, or fresh cucumbers. These low-carbohydrate options provide volume while keeping your insulin levels calm and steady. If you desire a touch of natural sweetness, a small handful of berries, such as raspberries or blackberries, is sufficient to satisfy the palate without causing a metabolic storm. This combination of a solid protein, a healthy fat, and mineral-rich vegetables provides a level of satiety that traditional heavy doughs can never offer. By focusing on these specific building blocks, you trigger the hormones that tell your brain you are truly full, allowing you to walk away from the table with dignity and grace. This is the physical manifestation of the Sunnah: to leave enough space in the stomach so the diaphragm can move freely, allowing you to breathe deeply and stand in prayer without the physical pressure of a bloated, heavy stomach. If your current meal leaves you more interested in the bed than the prayer mat, Whose purpose is that food truly serving? The second pillar of this transformative method is the one-meal-a-day strategy, a true warrior's approach to the holy month. Once you finish your nutrient-dense meal of protein and healthy fats at sunset, the kitchen must be closed and the heart must be opened. For the rest of the night, your only companion should be pure, clean water. This prevents the constant grazing and midnight snacking that keeps your digestive system working overtime while you should be focusing on your devotion and rest. In this extended window of fasting, your body enters a state of deep repair, cellular cleaning, and metabolic flexibility. This is where the true healing happens, especially for those struggling with high blood sugar. Your insulin levels remain low and stable for 23 hours a day, giving your overworked pancreas a much-needed rest and allowing your cells to regain their natural sensitivity. This discipline mirrors the spiritual goal of the entire month, to prove to ourselves and our Creator that we are the masters of our desires, not their slaves. You will find that in the pre-dawn hours of suhoor, a simple glass of water and the remembrance of God are more than enough to carry you through the next day without a single distracting thought of food. By limiting your consumption to this one sacred window, you create a fortress around your fast and your focus. Why do we fear letting go of that extra portion or that late-night snack when it is the very thing robbing us of our spiritual clarity and physical health? When the body finally stops fighting the internal war of blood sugar crashes and insulin spikes, the spiritual benefits become truly indescribable. Your brain, fueled by clean, efficient ketones, becomes razor-sharp and remarkably calm. You find that you can focus on the meanings of the Quranic verses with a depth and presence you have never experienced before. The long night prayers of Taraweeh and Tahajjud become a source of rejuvenation and joy rather than a test of physical endurance and a battle against sleep. You are no longer checking your watch every few minutes or shifting your weight from one foot to the other in exhaustion. You are present, you are awake, and you are deeply connected to the words being recited. This is the true sweetness of faith that is so often obscured by the fog of sugar addiction and heavy digestion. By eating simply, prioritizing essential proteins like beef or fish alongside healthy fats like avocado or butter, we become more capable of reaching for the heavens because the body is no longer a heavy anchor pulling us down to the earth. You realize that your hunger was never about a lack of calories, but a lack of proper, stable fuel that honors the complex design of your body. If the goal of this entire month is to elevate the soul and attain a higher state of God consciousness, why would we ever choose to weigh it down with the heavy, processed baggage of the modern food industry? However, we must address the tragedy of the fall, the moment the holy month ends and the old, destructive habits come creeping back. One brother shared how he experienced one Ramadan of perfect clarity on keto, but he is no longer on that path and is now feeling the painful, heavy weight of the fast once again. This is the great struggle of our generation. The modern world is a relentless machine designed to pull us back into the cycle of constant consumption and chemical dependency. Our social gatherings, our family traditions, and even our expressions of love are often tied to the very foods that make us sick, tired, and lethargic. The discipline that felt so natural and liberating under the protective shadow of Ramadan can feel like a lonely prison when the rest of the world is feasting on sugar. But we must remember that the heaviness you feel when returning to carbohydrates is actually a profound mercy from your Creator. It is a signal from your body, a physical reminder of the clarity and light you once possessed. It is a sign that you have drifted away from the natural balance intended for you. The regret you feel today is a sign of spiritual life. It means your heart still knows the difference between being a slave to your appetite and being a dignified servant of the divine. If you have already tasted the absolute peak of physical and spiritual freedom, why do you allow the temporary pleasure of a single bite to rob you of the lasting peace of a focused heart? The way back to that state of grace is through the door of sincere intention and the timeless wisdom of the Sunnah. You do not have to wait for another Ramadan to reclaim your health, your energy, and your spiritual focus. The prophetic tradition of fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, or the 3 white days of each lunar month, provides the perfect framework to maintain your ketogenic discipline throughout the entire year. Every time you choose a clean, nutrient-dense meal of protein and healthy fats, you reinforce your willpower and continue to heal your metabolism. You prove to yourself that these indescribable benefits were not a one-time miracle, but a repeatable reality that you can choose every single day. Start today by simplifying your plate and your life. Remove the sugars, the refined grains, and the processed oils that cloud your mind and inflame your body. Return to the purity of wholesome meats, the sustaining power of natural fats, and the life-giving clarity of pure water. Treat your body like the sacred trust, the amanat, that it truly is, and it will reward you by becoming a swift vehicle for your spiritual ascent rather than a heavy chain. The journey is long, and the temptations of the world are many. But the prize is a life lived in total clarity, health, and submission to the one who created you. If you knew that the key to your deepest, most profound connection with the Creator was hidden in the simple discipline of your very next meal, what would you choose to put on your plate tonight?